welcome back. I'm Howell. We're just going to do a couple of Christmas crafts using Cyanotype today. First one we're going to go through is creating a lantern. Today's demonstration is going to cover two different activities, but I created them at the same time, and this is just economy of movement and efficiency. I'm not the most patient person in the world, so I don't really like waiting around for things to expose or to be dried when I've washed them. So quite often I'm working in tandem, doing several things at once. I'll also just do a little disclaimer. I have fibromyalgia, and when I did the video, I obviously wasn't feeling that grand, so I'm a little bit washed out and perhaps not as erudite as I should be, but please enjoy it anyway, and I hope that you find this useful to make your own Christmas crafts. And the other lesson that I'm going to do is creating little wooden Christmas ornaments using Cyanotype as well. If you're enjoying all the craft stuff, obviously like and subscribe, as the kids say these days, and I'll keep churning out more content of fun things that you can do in the home. Alright, thanks. So, trusty old Cyanotype chemistry and Poppy. Now my Cyanotype, I can see, has got a little bit of mould in it, so I'm gonna strain it into another dish. That's it, captured in the tea strainer there. If you leave it in, obviously it'll create clumps of chemistry in certain places, and well, it might look crap. So ideally have a little tea strainer or something similar on hand to get rid of the worst of it. Now I need to tape the bits of vellum that I want to use to the table so that they don't curl when I put my Cyanotype solution on. If you are using normal sellotape or masking tape rather than artist's tape, then we're going to have to remove some of the stickiness. And we do that by picking up fluff from whatever we've got on. Now I'm only going to do top and bottom for a bit of tape because that should be enough to stop it curling in on itself. We're using vellum because it's transparent, it's quite strong, and it has a lovely appearance when the Cyanotype is finally dried up on it. It is absolutely very hypermobile, so after you've washed it, you're probably going to need to flatten it down with a little couple of books or something like that. You can hear the paper crackling as it's trying to find a way to settle down. While that is drying, I actually have some of those papers that I prepared the other day. Now, the Cyanotype is fogged because I've just left it for ages. I'll do a test run and see if these are still printable, and if they're not still printable, then I'll probably turn them over and use the opposite side and put some more Cyanotype on there instead. While I'm waiting for the Cyanotype for the lanterns to dry, I have some pre-prepared acetate that I'm going to put on top of the slightly fogged book paper, and we'll see if we can get an image. Ah, it's so shiny! Okay, so for your lantern, you are going to need a fairly heavy duty bag, because this will be nice and easy to cut some aperture windows out. on either side, and you're going to need a puck light, which is battery operated. These are colour change RGB lights, and they take 3 AA batteries. However, you can get slightly different types. I leave that up to you to riddle through. The intention is to take away enough of a window on this so that when I'm happy with how dry the vellum is, I can produce a print and cut it to the size on here. Found my little knife. I'm basically going to leave approximately 1 inch . Okay, I'm about ready to grab the images out from the exposure unit, and let's see if the fogged paper has worked. I hate waste, so we've got to try it. Well, I'm happy to say that that's worked out fine, so I can use the fogged pieces of paper to create some stupid decorations for Christmas, I guess. Always a joy when you realise that you can use something that you thought you might have to throw away. Because the paper's a little bit fogged though, I am going to leave it to soak for a little bit longer. And while that's washing, I'll pop another one on. Right, I'm going to remove the sheets and I'm going to put them somewhere flat and dark where they can finish drying off and where I can flatten them ready for exposure. So this is where we're at now. I'm going to just plonk them on top of each other and I'm going to flatten them in between some paper so I don't ruin my books. I'm using some of the laser cut wooden Christmas ornaments to block out the UV light, and then as you can see I'm just mixing it up with some 3-dimensional objects, and underneath there's also the acetate so that they will match. Once you've left that on to expose, then you can move on to cutting your apertures out. Flip back to the laser cut cyanotype decorations. I've let the paper dry and I washed it properly, so I was working on the little decorations on a different day. This is my setup. That's me in my blanket, and I really need to keep warm because of the fibromyalgia. Winter's not like a really great time of year for me. So doing little crafts and things that I can just do on the tabletop in front of us in the warm, where I can just take regular breaks and have rests, is the best way for me to be able to work. You can get much more exciting with your designs. Quite often I'm using bits and pieces that were left over from projects. So recently I was doing another community project and we were using these Christmas cutouts to create the Christmas lanterns. All of the kids received a lantern and a little Christmas decoration for them to walk around with in the local winter parade. But then afterwards I had like loads of leftover little cutouts. I also had the acetate that I'd prepared for the workshops.
So, you know, it makes sense just to use the rest of these things. I want to create these videos to show you guys work in process and how, you know, you might create different things with what you have, but also to create, you know, little knickknacks that I can take and try and sell at market. I thought that these lanterns were really, really, really cute. Obviously, they work much better in the darkness with a lot of the colour change going backwards and forwards.
If you're enjoying all the craft stuff, obviously like and subscribe, as the kids say these days, and I'll keep churning out more content of fun things that you can do in the home. All right, thanks.